Hello and welcome. Now in this video we will be learning about the steps to print pattern in Python. So basically there will be 5 steps in printing any pattern in Python. Starting with the first step. The first step, which is very basic, that is you decide the number of rows and columns. Okay, so before going into the actual code, you should be aware with that how many rows or how many columns will be there in my pattern. Then we will be iterating according to these rows and columns. So definitely when I say rows and columns, there will be used a nested loop into that. Why nested? One is for row and another is for column. So for each row you will be traversing all the columns. So when you go to the step number 2, that is iterate row, and this iterate row will be called as the outer loop. What we can do into that? We can use here a for loop for iteration purpose. We can use range function to decide that up to which point my loop will go. Then the third step is to iterate for columns. Iterate column, and when we iterate column, we call it as inner loop. I'm explicitly writing outer and inner so that while writing the code, when I'll put the comment, it will be very clear to you that which one is outer loop, which one is inner loop, and at what location we need to put the print statements. Now going to the fourth step, which is you print your pattern. So you'll be going for printing of either the stars or the numbers or alphabets, whatever given in that. Okay, remember this is inside the nested loop. Then the fifth step is then you can add a new line. Remember, if you do not add this new line, all the elements will be printed in one line. Okay, and we want to print a pattern. So this new line will be done for the outer loop after each iteration. Let us see this in the program, that how we are going to follow these steps. Okay, so as I said, as per our first step, we'll first decide that how many rows will be there in my pattern. So let's say rows we have taken 5, and as I said, we'll be following the iteration in rows and columns. So we'll start with first for loop for I in range, and the range will be number of rows plus 1. If you remember my earlier videos, I have told that whenever you want to go in a loop for a certain range, you have to give the value plus 1, n plus 1, because range covers the lesser than the last value. Okay, let's move on to the nested loop. This is the outer loop, the first one. Now the next one is for the inner loop, which will be for the columns. Okay, and the range will be for whatever the value of I is here. Now, as I said, we will be printing the next step was we'll be printing our pattern whatsoever it is So let's say in this example, I'm going to print it for the numbers. So we'll be printing the value I, and you have to also specify that there will be some gap between the values in each row for the column values. For that specifically, I have written here this blank space. Now you need to pay attention that do not write the next print statement inside this inner loop. We have to go back, see the adjustment of cursor. Now we will be writing a print statement simply to add a new line. So we can do this by simply adding a blank space into it. Okay, so the purpose is we'll be traversing in the rows, then we'll be traversing in each row inside the column. In column we print the value. We also put a blank space to end up the value in each column, and also to change the lines we'll be doing that. So let's execute it. What I'm expecting here is that there will be a pattern of numbers starting from 1 and 1 time, 2 time, which is called as a triangular, half triangular pattern of numbers. As you can see the resultant, this is the value which we have done. We can also print any other pattern. Let's copy this same content, and whatever here we are doing I as a number, remember to choose wisely the logic to get the value, the desired one. We can print any pattern like star we can do. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe the channel to watch some more videos in Python.